All right, so hello everybody. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm here today with a very unique individual. Her name is Fiona, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself to you. But from what I know, she does amazing in sharing lights because she's also the creator and an admin and the admin of a very popular Facebook page that it's all about angels, which is the subject of our conversation today. So Fiona, so good to see you and meet you. How are you today?
Yeah, doing great here.
Great. So tell me, first of all, I want you to tell the followers a little bit about yourself as far as who you are spiritually, what you do, and of course about the Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, I'm a mum of five. I live in Nova in Northern Ireland, County Tyrone, and um, I'm an angel reader, spiritual reader. I'm also can connect with spirit people, loved ones that have passed away. I'm also a healer. I work with saints and angels in my healing. Um, and I've been told it's been passed down from my dad and my granny. His mum, so it's passed down that family line. So that's what I do. And I started the page about 4.5 years ago now, and it's grown in numbers. You know, it's just helping people every day. I put up positive messages. I usually get very guided to what messages I put up. I find that an awful lot. Whenever I'm putting up posts, these posts seem to land with me. I've been doing an awful lot of nature stuff lately, and I just feel, it's all connected to God's creations,
So I'm going to
beautiful.
have to interrupt you here, of course, because everything is when not out of rudeness, of course, because something's sitting on my soul and resonating with me. You know, you mentioned the followers, just so people have an idea how many followers you have on your page.
I have 137,000 followers on the page, but I started a group after the page, and it's
Wow.
gone to 180,000 as
Wow.
of this morning. So,
So it's 100 and some thousands of souls that follow that page. That's the amount of inspiration that you're having on others. And this is just so amazing to know, and the impact, ladies and gentlemen, that it does on people. You know, every soul that we save equals to saving a whole world. You have to understand it. When you look at the physical world, when you look where everything is measured, everything has capacity, everything has numbers, division, you know that the more you do the better it is. But in the spiritual realm, as long as you take your journey, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, meaning as long as you affect one single soul, it equals to affecting everyone around you. And this is sharing light. And just like you cannot contain light, you can contain that. So I wanted to ask you, you know when I knew I'm going to speak with you and about this beautiful subject of angels, because many people always ask me to speak about that, and they want to know more. And it simply indicates me that they are themselves encountering these encounters, but yet they cannot explain them, or their soul really crave guidance from the angels, or their soul really crave. And people must know there are about trillion types of angels with all different purposes and all different roles in creation. And there are some that are specifically there to deal with humanity, and some are there to deal with the weather and with the universe and solar systems. And it's amazing. It's amazing how much they're here to just be like the stage workers. So I want to ask you, what do you define as an angel? What is an angel in your words?
well, you have your earth angels, people that you can encounter in everyday life as well, that come across your path, and it's like a synchronicity again. You meet somebody and you meet them at the right time for the right reason. That's what my definition would be of an earth angel, and I've met so many people, it's just been unreal. Um, and in the spiritual realm, like I work a lot with Archangel Raphael, who's a healer. I work a lot with Archangel Michael, who's the protector. And I also work with Archangel Metatron, who to me is the access to the records, that are held about each and every one of us. It's like a blueprint.
I have a special connection with him, by the way.
Yeah, I very, very much. I work with him. Any work that I do, I have a connection. And Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael, sorry. Um, but it's very important for. That's what I was going to say. The reason I started my page as well, obviously, I was on the spiritual journey and I had an awful lot of encounters and spiritual experiences. But one of the reasons that I started the page, obviously, was to help people, but also to spread the word that you're not alone. These things do happen. I was sharing my own experiences on the page so people wouldn't think, oh, I got that. And, people are, some people that are maybe not spiritual, that don't believe in it, who obviously I'm sure we've all come across from time to time. They might sort of laugh at you and think that you're being a wee bit sort of out there. But that was another reason that I started the page, was to share awareness, that all these things are real, all these things are true, these things do happen. And the amount of people that have opened up to me since I started the page, because I would share like photographs that I would see things on, because I know myself, I'm guided, to take photographs at certain times. And there's a lot of people come on the page now and they share all their own experiences and, even message me privately and say, I got this photo the other day, and maybe they're scared of actually putting the photograph up, but they actually send it to me, and I says, "Oh yeah, I see it." You know what I mean? The amount of people that would be sitting back and would get signs, but never really believed it, you know, and the amount of numbers and things like that I would get would be unreal. Like my phone flashes non-stop. I have a Fitbit watch on, and it flashes at every number. I've had so many numbers this morning, probably because I'm coming on here, obviously. Um, but it's just unreal the amount of signs, and that's what I wanted to sort of deliver in my messages on the page, was that you're not alone, you're guided, you have a guardian angel that comes to you from birth, but every day, every minute of every day that you're guided, and reach out and ask for help, because there's an awful lot of people feel so lonely there, and they do feel, and I've been there, believe you me. Another reason again that I got more into this, because I had an awful lot of healing to do myself.
Of
And
course.
you say you're on your journey yourself too. I had a lot of healing. Like a lot of us that are doing this type of work haven't had easy paths.
That's
And
the
my
only
path,
path for spiritual transformation, is
yeah,
to go through the challenges. You can't
exactly.
wake up the sleep. People understand to what spiritually awakening is, to wake up from what? Is to wake up from following the whole wrong journey. I'm gonna have to say something about what you said before I forget, because it was beautiful. A lot of people ask me, how do I find my path in life, spiritually speaking? Like, how do I find my purpose? Like, I know I have something. It's itching. My soul's trying to express itself. But how do I find out? So, to those who are watching right now, Miss Fiona, sorry, I'm sorry. This is how you find your path. She is living her spiritual path. This is the fact that she's so set in what she's doing, and using that platform and the messages and the pictures, and to get, like you said, to raise the awareness. That's what I do. That's why I call myself the soul guide. I know I'm, I've healed before. I've had to heal myself a lot, up until the past 2 years, even, because I was dealing with counter spiritual forces that were very, very strong. And I call myself a guide because I really just put a spiritual mirror to reflect souls their own light, and to see what they need to do with that. I don't teach a soul how to be a soul. It's something we all have inside. And you're right, we're not alone. These angels are here just for that reason. These beautiful archangels, especially Michael, which is in Hebrew, my mother's tongue, it's Michael. It's just like, who are you? Who is like you, God? It's like, it's beautiful name. All the ELs, for those of you who don't know, the L's in the archangels' names are the Hebrew word for God. So they all have the names. In case you didn't know, Raphael that you mentioned, okay, Rapha in Hebrew is healing, medicine. Refuah is the study of medicine. Rofe in Hebrew means doctor, MD. We call him doctor, but it's also the profession is Rofe, just like from the same root as Raphael. So Raphael is God who will heal. And this is his archangel, and he does exactly that. He heals the physical challenges that people deal with. And Michael is heroism, but Metatron, which you mentioned before, I really resonate with, because the more I spiritually ascend myself, I don't even call it past life, because there's no such thing. Like, we as humans have the perspective of time, of past, present, future. As souls, we're everywhere, every time, anytime. And I know that in other incarnations, I feel connected to the soul of Enoch, biblical Enoch, which they believe that later on became the archangel Metatron himself, which they call him the minister of the faces as well. That's and he's the closest to the divine. He sits really like in the highest thrones of where the divine. When the divine is your higher self, your light, your something you become part of forever. And it's just a total bliss of consciousness. And again, and the angels you're talking about, I've had many encounters with Michael hovering over when I was going through my spiritual battles. I mean, when I needed them the most. And guys, you have to understand, when we talk about angels, they're there for you, but you kind of have to meet them halfway. You have to, like Fiona said, know that you're not alone. You have to, it's not just believing in these things. It's not like, let's try this magic. Let's see if an angel going to come and help me. You're going to have to really welcome that angel into your life, but it has to come from a pure place, right? Do you want to elaborate on that?
100%, 100%. That's what I was going to say, yeah, too. Like, it all has to come from the pure heart and soul. It's like somebody as well, whenever you're doing healing work, and I'm sure you know this as well, people can reject the energy. Like, my belief is we are all energy within a human body. We're having a human experience here, and
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're standing that healing, if people are not, because I even know this from doing healings and doing readings, if people are not in that, state of mind or that place or to receive it, it can get blocked to such a blocking mightn't be the right actually proper word to use, but that's what my understanding of it. You might have a better word for it, but if you're speaking from your pure heart, you can never go far wrong, to be honest. And that's what I come across on the page as well. I just go on, like, initially whenever I started doing lives, like, I was nervous, obviously, but I just am me. That's all I am, as me, and speak what just comes out, go with the flow. And and I've always I don't know how my page grew so big, but because I don't use any paid advertising on it, but it's just, I do believe it's meant to be. I was meant to create this. I was given the name for it, guided by the angels, and I was meant to create that page, and I was meant to be doing this work. You know what I mean? Because my background isn't this. My background was computers. I was actually a software engineer, and it was really strange this morning. I was actually on the phone and I was putting up a couple of posts. I was actually sharing about this podcast. And the thing that came up on my page, and this was a synchronicity as well, it was a fella in Mind Valley. And I just watched him for a bit, and he was on about all the spiritual experiences and how he's been guided and things like that there. But the one thing he said was his background was software engineering, and I thought I was meant to hear this today. I was meant the synchronicities are unreal. I find that there, like I'm in a place where I'm meant to be, and everybody's the same. You know what I
No,
mean? They can drive out the road now and see a number, and you're like, I'm meant to be here where I'm meant to be here. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But as I say, if you speak from a place of pure love, and love is one of the highest vibrations. And you were on about your purpose there, and I just want to add to that as well for everybody. If you raise your vibration enough, and that's through practices like involving spirituality daily in your life, like grounding yourself, and we might go into a bit more of that later, but grounding and protection on a daily basis, and bringing healing down and inviting your angels on a daily basis.
yeah,
You'll start and doing meditation and stilling your mind and being in the moment, you will start elevating your energy. You know, when I first started meditating, first, honestly, my mind was I was coming from that logical background, like mathematics and programming and things like that. But what I was going to say to everybody out there, the more you elevate yourself, the more you elevate your energy, the more you will become connected. And the more you become connected, the more your purpose will find you. And you'll start to see
true.
more and more and more. Because everybody has the ability. Everybody has the ability to
Of
connect.
course.
Yeah. But
Uh,
some people are just maybe not totally open to it at the moment. But everybody has the ability to connect to their guides and their angels, you know. And as I say, the more that you do the spiritual work on a daily basis, the more you will start, you know,
and it's
for the connection to get stronger, you know.
yeah, and it's easier than what people think, and I'll tell you why. Because well, I have so many things to comment about what you said. Let me organize them really quick. So first of all, I'll start from the end. It's really easy because it needs to come from a place of where your emotions are, not your feelings. And these are totally whole different things. These are the two journeys. The feelings are what we have, like these are the spiritual sensations that are affected solely by this physical world, and this physical world consequences. Somebody says something not nice about you, or somebody mistreats you, or somebody even makes you fall to your feet in love. It's all going to have your feelings involved. It's your soul willing to take the extra step and penetrate into this physical world even more and kind of dance that dance. But when you're talking about emotions, this is your intuition. This is where your soul is completely aimed at. This is what your soul knew from even before being born into this world, even when you were an embryo, when you were in your mother's belly, even prior to that. All these synchronicities you're talking about, these were all predetermined spiritual journey that we have to accept upon ourselves. And when people have intuition, when they're like feel like something's right, that's when the soul speaks to you. This is the true meditation. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me 2 days ago, and I'm heading over there shortly after we're done speaking today. My aunt is on the she's intubated. She's in life support. She's fighting for her life in the ICU. Well, she's fighting for her physical life. She's always going to be alive. But the last time I was there, I went there, and of course she's in a coma. I'm holding her hand, and I'm praying, and I really wasn't even thinking about anything too deep besides just pray for her and just give her energies, right? All of a sudden, I started crying, just like the type of cry that we don't control. You know what I mean? It can be a cry of happiness. It can be a burst of sadness, a fear. And those things are just like we realize, like, wow, we have no say. The body feels for us, the body reacting for us. And these are the most truest of feelings. These are the most genuine of feelings. I tell people even when you pray with conviction, pray with intention, like you need to really mean what you say. Just like when somebody's important to you in real life, you will mean what you say to them. You'll be honest with them. You'll be loyal to them. And the same thing, like in the spiritual, if you want an angel, you can, but the angel will know how genuine you are with your intentions to summon that angel. They're there for us, but they're not here for us to be used as something. And this is what the problem is, and maybe you agree with me on that. You know, a lot of people teach us to learn how to tap into our soul. And I think that people should do the opposite. We shouldn't tap into our soul. We should have our souls tap into our bodies every time our physical needs are there, like food, like whatever we need in this physical consciousness to survive. What do I mean? Because the action of tapping is simply meaning touching and letting go,
Mm-hmm.
touching and letting go, just like tap water, right? It's because it drips. It tapping and letting go, and we don't want to do that only when we are in a state of happiness. You know, people tap into their soul when they need a miracle. You know, people that were never spiritual, but something that know that, oh, now my talents, my money, my qualities, all that stuff cannot help me. I need a miracle. I'm going to turn to the angels. I'm going to. So you tap into your soul, and a lot of them, they come from deep place, but that's the place he needs to come from. But I want people to 24/7 be in that state of,
Exactly.
of that butterfly in the stomach. And this is, I can feel that you are experiencing. I left jobs like from a correctional officer to a successful martial arts instructor with businesses in America to a music producer, you name it. But you know what? Looking back, I was in these places as part of the synchronicities. These places got me to know almost every aspect of humanity. And once you know humanity, you really know what they need spiritually, and you were able to provide it for them better. But you have to heal yourself, like you said, in order to heal others. You know, a lot of people tell me, I want to heal others, but I have a lot of fears. How do they go together? How can you yourself have fears, but you want to teach others not to be afraid? You know, we have to overcome these blocks, but it's amazing. What I wanted to do, I wanted to go through some things about angels, okay? Because, look, guys, we can't cover the subject of angel, even if you give me a lifetime of live broadcasts. You simply can't, because there's so much. I can talk hours about just earth angels, you know, like people who are just regular people who are doing missions for the angels here on earth. They're here to test us as humans. There are even destructive angels. I mean, angels that are not here to harm us. They're not come from an evil place, but they're here to disturb the balance. It's all about balance. So some of the things that I wrote here, um, about angels, and I want you, of course, want you to tell me what you think about it. That they are like the cosmic conductors, okay? They're like the leaders in a big orchestra, making sure everything in the universe works together smoothly, just like different instruments playing in harmony. And people don't understand that the ecosystem that we have, the fact that bees do what they do, the fact that trees do what they do, plants, everything, it's all being operated by spiritual beings, angels. Same for animals. Then on their souls. People ask me, do animals have souls? Of course they do. Not human souls, angelic souls, because they have the need to give over the need to receive. They don't possess hate. They don't possess anger. They're simply following what they call reflex, and I call heavenly role. So they all maintain the balance, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that comes back to the thing I was saying to you about the earth angels and people crossing your path for different reasons. It's like you crossed my path, you know what I mean? It was actually your partner, your wife, you know, that come across, I think, my page initially, but it's the same thing, you know, it's the spiritual end of it, and then the obviously human interaction end of it, the two things are working in sync, and you're getting signs everywhere. But if you are not open to receiving the signs will be there. But if you're not open to receiving them, if your mind's too busy and your mind's too clouded, do you know what I mean? Again, I always it's like a radio station tuning in. That's what I always feel it's like. That's what I always say to people, even on my lives. It's like you tuning into a radio station and you on the wrong station, and all you're getting this fuzzy noise, and you know what I mean. You can't get tuned in if you're not in the right frequency. Then you're not going to get the right message. You know what I mean? You have to. A lot of people think too much into their path, and I know sometimes that's not easy not to do. That makes sense because I've been there and done that. And a lot of people think too much into the future. The whole idea is to be still in the moment and be in the here and now. And this is where it's happening. This is where it is in the here and now, and being still in the moment. And once you're still in the moment, you elevate yourself enough, all the things will start to. Another thing with the nature and the trees and things like that, like everything's energy. And I would probably bring it back more to energy too. Everything's energy, and we're all connected.
We're manifesting it.
Yeah,
We manifest. I mean, I tell people all the time, um, like you said, the stillness part, the
yeah,
being in the moment part allows us to simply align our soul with our body. Most of the time, it's not aligned. If I go and see a pizza place and I just all I think about is that pizza that's going to really please my taste glands or whatnot, that it might make the soul. It doesn't really make the soul happy because it's not about that. We need to use all of our energies to align our soul to ourselves. We manifest miracles. I tell people, I used to be the driver. I used to take every turn in my life. I used to be in control because I had good intuition as well, but I thought that I was too much in control. I decided that in this realm, you just take the back seat, roll down the window, enjoy the view, trust the driver. It's no longer, people ask me, what's the purpose in life? The purpose in life is not about actions that pleases and satisfies the body. It's about reactions. How do you react to everything that comes into you? Like a moving film, it's images and moments and events and people. How do you react to them? How godly you are. How much and when you are like that, when you are aligned like that, you are in a path when angels are all around you. You are in the right frequency. And any of them that need to help you will help you. There's some of them that just help the universe as a collective. People ask why the wars happening and everything. It's all part of a spiritual imbalance. Because that's why innocent people also, why do innocent people have to do with collective damages and balance and energies? All we have to do to correct that is do exactly what you do. What I try to do
mm-hmm.
is to make people resonate. I'm not here to change anybody and teach because I can't. Every soul has its own qualities. My wife once asked me, and she's, in the beginning of her process, and she's like, do you know about healers? I was like, everybody is a healer.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are actually doing it are those who found out that they are. Those who
Yes,
accepted who they are doing it. Those who know deeply who they are have the power to do it. You have the power to do it too. How much you believe in that? How much you want to invest in that physical body where it's limited, where healers is something that maybe or maybe not exist? Well, how much you really, really know that, like you said, you are a soul that's living a body experience and not a body that sometimes and sometimes not have a soul. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it
yeah,
is.
100%, hundred
I had a
percent.
question for you. I have a question for you. Um, what do you think about the idea that I know exists because I've encountered it myself? That angel, for moments, for brief moments, for testing us, for the purpose of testing us, they possess the body of just a human being, and they do what they need to do. And I'm going to give you the example of what I'm talking about, and then they just disappear. I was and I told that on my in my one of my lives at my page. I told my wife, we went to this, was after surgery, we went to the supermarket to do shopping, and I was having a hard time walking, so I was kind of like walking with my stick very slow. And and there was a lot of people there. There were tons of people there, crowded. And I remember this gentleman came out to me like out of nowhere, and he almost like he had a tunnel vision just walking towards me. He wasn't even walking, looking, and it was kind of weird because I knew I didn't know him, but like yet he's approaching me like he knows me. And I greet him, and he greets me, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, how can I help you?" And I said, "Would you do me a favor, please?" And I said, well, "I can try." And then he showed me one of those, like those flip phones from 20 years ago, very, very old school flip phones, way before smartphones, the first generation flip phones. Something, I remember. I mean, I'm old enough to remember these and use those, but he asked me to turn his brightness up because he's supposed to receive an important phone call and he doesn't want to miss it or something. And I'm like, naturally, I mean, normally, or old me or the average person would probably decline him kindly and just say, I was in a hurry. Like we were shopping, there's a lot of people, and I'm helping my wife, and here I am sitting, finding myself sitting there with that phone like 10 or 15 minutes, just trying everything, and I don't even know how I was able to get that light. All he needed is that to be brighter, and his smile and the way he looked at me almost like, and then he told me, he's like, you have no idea how much you helped me today, sir. Like, you have no idea. And he literally just disappeared faster than he showed up. And I'm like standing there stunned. Like, my wife comes to me and is like, well, this gentleman, do you see? Like, she's trying to, like, which one is that? She was able to see him, but he was gone. And I'm like, I just helped him with the phone, and he made me feel so like he was really happy about it. And all I did was helping him with the phone. And I knew, because she was asking questions, and I'm like, that's an angel
Mm-hmm.
coming in the form of that individual to test you, to guide you. I mean, this is part of their roles. Have you ever had
100%.
an encounter?
100%. So many things have happened to me, honestly.
Share with us one of them.
People would think I'm actually over here. You call it crazy or not wise or something. The amount of things that have happened to me, that certainly was. I just felt too, it was very significant the way you mentioned light and what I was feeling whenever you said that. I started swaying when you started chatting about it. That was my energy swaying. Um, but whenever you started chatting about him, like I was thinking about the light and you were showing him the way. Do you know what I mean? And that was belief for you to believe in yourself and to know that you're on the right path. It's like getting nudges, spiritual nudges from your
Mm,
angels. Like
yes.
at one time there, I've had a lot of low points in my life over time, but there was a time there about 4 years ago, and I was very, very low. I was actually suicidal. I'm not going to make any bones about it, but I was actually, that low a point. And this lady messaged me out of the blue, and she started saying to me, I had never met her in my life before. I had never seen her. I had never. She messaged me out of the blue, and she turned around and told me that she was sent to me to help me. And she started giving me all these messages, But I've had a lot of experiences, but like things like that, you just know there's other beings that are working for you. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
Angels and your guides. Another connection that I had, and I do feel it was a calling. It was come back about my brother died. It'll be 10 years past now in February time. He died in 2014. Sorry, February, and after he passed, I started getting an awful lot of signs, and I know people here, like might get coins, feathers, robins, all these different signs, flickering of lights, and things like that there. But my son was, I was taking him for tests to the hospital, and I took him for a sample test for his urine, basically what happened was the doctor run me back that evening and says, oh, we need to get him in for bloods. There's something come up on this here. And I remember as well, it was a Monday. And as you do as a parent, I did worry, It was a good few years ago. And what happened is I prayed to my brother in heaven. And I prayed, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Padre Pio, the saint, but I prayed to Padre Pio. And the next morning I went on to my work. And my phone at my workplace was one of those phones that if you lifted it, you could hear the person talking and you had to press a button to silence them, if that makes sense. Because it was a business phone, So I lifted the phone to answer it, and there was two people standing in front of me, and they heard the whole thing. Because I was selling furniture. I still do a wee bit of furniture, not as much, but I was in retail. And I lifted the phone to answer it, and it just said, "This is a message from your Holy Spirit. Your prayers have been answered." It was unreal, and it was like a big sermon out of, I don't even know what it said, but it was like a sermon out of the Bible or something, you know.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, "What on earth?" And it was like a male voice saying this here, and this lady was standing there, and she was there to pay a deposit on a sale, and she was like, "Did I just hear that?" She says, "This is a message from the Holy Spirit. Your prayers have been answered." And I just knew then that was my calling. You know what I mean? That was my calling to do this work. Um, and like even in dreams, you know, angels will come to you in your dreams. Your loved ones and spirits will come to you in your dreams. I've had a lot of dreams, and things have happened. You know what I mean? That I've actually dreamt about. I can never say the word actually, premonitions, is it? But things like that, you know. But just experiences like that. I've had so many experiences where you meet somebody where you're meant to be. Like one day I was over, there's a local place here called Dublin that you can actually get something to eat in. It's a shopping place. And I came out of the place, and I was just after having something to eat, and this wee man came up beside me, and he started chatting, and he goes, "Oh, do you shopping here much?" and all this here. And I was just being friends, always usually be to people, you know, and I was just being friendly. And then he started saying he had a sore back, and I was looking for the bank machine, and he brought me down to show me the bank machine at the back of the shop. And actually that day as well, I can't even remember what it was, but I was like you, I was in a real hurry to go somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And but I was looking at this bank machine because I had to make a supplier or something, and he brought me down and showed me the bank machine. I didn't even know where it was, down in the back of the shop. And I went over to the back of the shop, and he was telling me he had a sore back and things like this here. And I started healing him in the middle of the shop, and this fella came out of the store, and I was thinking, he was thinking, what is going on over there with that woman? But it's like I've met people in situations like that you're meant to meet them because you're there, you've been called. And even though you don't know yourself, when you actually walk into that place, you don't know maybe at that stage, you know, that you're being called to do your work. Or I feel in your sense to believe in what you do, and this is your calling. Do you know what I mean? It's like a reaffirmation to say you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path. It's like seeing the numbers and things like that. Like I have a spiritual animal, and it's a magpie. And a lot of people associate one magpie with sorrow. I don't, because that magpie, it was there this morning. It is everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. If I'm out, it was in car parks, it was walking around my car. It flew over this morning again when I came down here. There's my healing room here in Oma, and it came down here and it just flew right over the car. You know what I mean? Like it's just unreal.
I know
It just,
exactly what you mean.
yeah, there's so much on every day. It's like, you know, I just feel so much buzz and excitement, and do you know what I mean? Like I just find it amazing. I really, really do. And that
And
was my reason for doing the page, as I say before, and bringing out that. But I just wanted to tell you that wee story about that. Um, and it's just unreal how they can get messages through to you. It's just, you know,
and this is what people need to understand. Thank you for so much for sharing this with me, by the way. And I wanted to say this is why your page is called what it's called, Guided by Angels. It's you know, you have to understand it's people sometimes expect their message or encounters with angels to be as they see in the movies or folklore, to just see somebody with wings descending from the sky. No, well, that's, yeah, well, you can see their form like that when you are a soul, when you are in your true form yourself. But in this world, we have to find them in between the lines, in between the miracles, in between the people that we meet. You know, I've met so many wonderful people, and these people usually were the people that society didn't want to mess with, and people that weren't getting loved where they were supposed to get just free love. And I knew I was tested, and I knew I needed to grow, and I saw miracles in front of my eyes, and the more I believed in them, the more I appreciated them. The more I acknowledged them and knew they were for me, it's almost like somebody sending you a personal letter, and you know that you have to write back, or you have
Exactly.
to cherish that. You have to appreciate it. Every single day, I went live on my Facebook page. It was about 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to show people what me and my wife, the messages we got from angels. We have also angelical numbers of the 2717, especially 27-7. But 27 is the main one, and not only we encounter it every day, but I told my wife, listen, we're gonna have to one day look, it's happening too often, and it's very rare that two people are exposed to that miracle themselves. Usually it's a part of a individual journey, that it's just synchronicity that happening to you, but it's part of our soul contract together, and we encounter that together, these numbers. So I told her, we're going to have to start documenting it so people will believe us. And we started documenting these numbers, and I went live, inviting you and anybody else here to rewatch that, how I show proofs in with arrows and dates, and how this number just out of nowhere came into our lives up until today. Like, and it's amazing, and we know we're surrounded by them. I always tell people when they have senses of fear or despair or pessimism, you know, you are safe, you are loved, and you are protected. Remember these three words: you're safe, you're loved, and protected. And it's very, very important to remind people the protected part. I told my cousin, whose mom I'm going to visit in a few minutes in the ICU, I told her, when you go see your mother, don't go there from a place of sadness and worry and depression and fear. I said, go with love, go with happiness, go with courage and optimism. You're going to manifest it. Angels does not go near people who produce energies of fear and despair and negative. That's why they can't. You can't make, if they go, they don't go together. You want to meet them, you meet them halfway. You go into their realm. You acknowledge their abilities. You acknowledge your abilities. We are, if people knew, and it was revealed to me in my near death experience, we are even more sacred than angels as far as our ability. We are part of the divine itself. We are not a creation on its own. We are only creation that came out of the divine itself. Our light is the divine light. We can go and climb up all the levels, all the realms of consciousness if we really want to. And even in this world, and Enoch, the same individual who they said walked with God, who later on became the archangel Metatron, did exactly that. While he was alive, he was able to travel between the portals and see all the angels, and he described them too, exactly how he saw them, through not the physical eyes, but through his spiritual eyes. And I hope you resonate with that. And I want to tell you something before we end our broadcast. I want to tell you that it's been an honor to speak to somebody who's such a high soul in consciousness, who understands her timeline of awakening, the trigger to her awakening, the reasoning, how to make the connection between what she has to do here, following her soul journey. And trust me, people like ourselves and everybody else who is in that path is tricky. It's twisting. Even if we do the right thing, the more energies we have, the more we're going to have even opposition. And we must never fear that. That we have guardian angels. You can ask yourself, I'm a soul, I'm part of God. What do I need a guardian angel? Is because the more good we do, we are limited. We're going to have opposition in form of other spiritual energies that will try to penetrate anywhere in the cracks of our faith in order to try to hurt us, not because we did something wrong. A lot of people sometimes ask me, how come I'm facing this disasters? What have I done? What do I need to change? It's not necessary. Sometimes you can do the perfect things, and therefore you're going to be challenged in even a higher challenge. How do you get a student to be a higher grade, a higher grade? How do you get somebody to be in from bachelor degree to master's degree to the PhD? You challenge them
Yeah.
more and more and more, knowing that they have knowledge, so you try to challenge them with more. So this is what it is. And I want to tell you that my only talent from my near death experience and my complete, almost complete awakening, we're never fully awake in this body, only after, but is that I see light and not people. I see light and not Facebook followers. I don't care about any of that stuff. And I'm telling you, you have a lot of light. And if you can take my recommendation, my just piece of spiritual advice, because I've learned a lot from you as well today, is that you do what we do now to your followers. Is here and there they need to look in you in the eyes. They need to hear your voice, because the voice, the notes, the letters, the numbers, your appearance, everything manifests and inspires and can create a lot of shockwaves. That's what I do in my page, and there's something about speaking to the people that really make it personal, and it penetrates to their hearts even better than the most prettiest of pictures or meme or quote or whatever they call it nowadays, because
The voice,
you,
yeah, the
you have
voice
a lot of
conveys energy.
purity in you.
Yeah, there's energy whenever you're speaking.
Of course.
And I know myself, like, I should be doing more lives and I should be doing more of this. It's just, as you know yourself, being a parent, it's quite difficult at times.
In a
Because the two
divine
boys
timing,
have,
in divine timing, there is a divine timing for everything, my friend. We don't rush
exactly,
anything. When you rush things in your life, you are completely leaving your soul journey and starting running again in that life journey. And that life journey is temporarily, is satisfying physically, but that's about it. But things happen when they're supposed to happen. And I'm telling you, I could have sit here and talked to you for hours. I haven't even covered. See, that's what I told you, and I'm telling everybody else. I don't like to
and
pre-plan an interview about spiritual. If I need to be talking out of my heart and soul, why do I need my brain to tell me what I need to talk about? It doesn't go together. Like, it's not a lecture. I'm not teaching here in the university. So I made some stuff. Fiona here will be comfortable with some common subjects. But see, we didn't need any of that. It's mostly sharing experiences, sharing
exactly.
light, sharing insights, being yourself. And you know what? That's what people love to hear. That's what people's souls love to hear the most. And I hope that this is not the last time that we're going to speak, and we can do it every now and then. Maybe pick an angel and just do a breakdown about it. It's going to be something that everybody will benefit from.
That'd be brilliant because there's so many. Just on another note, there was an angel appeared on a glass of ice cream many years ago as well, on my son's ice cream, and I first thought it was a sticker on the glass, and it was around Christmas time. It was just prior to Christmas. We were actually featured in one of them magazines, one of them psychic magazines. You know, it was the time to take a break. We're doing a magazine, but it's things like that. When I first seen it, I was like, oh, and I kept the glass in the freezer for ages. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then eventually my
they're
freezer
everywhere.
defrosted. But I've loads of photographs of it. But it's unreal, the signs, you know. And as I say, the more you elevate yourself, the more
Yeah,
you'll
and
find
there
the
and one last thing before we finish. People need to understand they're not come from other worlds. In this physical world, we also have a spiritual realm, and this is the veil. This is when that's the stuff that's running. The sun doesn't need batteries, right, or solar panels to work. I mean, you have to understand there's a force, the force of creation, the created beings that are in charge, and they're everywhere. They're here. The fact that you can't see them means nothing. We can't see our loved ones who departed. We remember them. We can see pictures. We can't touch them anymore. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they never existed. It doesn't mean we don't love them. We don't know them. We don't feel them. Same with angels. But Fiona, thank you so much. I think that we planted a seed here that maybe we can here and there do some discussions, live discussions about angels, and let people get to the feeling, and because this subject, we don't do any justice with that for one like 1 hour live. It's amazing. It's something that it's ever expanding, and I want everybody to resonate with the beautiful things that Fiona said today. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much for having me on. And definitely we'll meet again, no doubt. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely.
time, yeah, maybe the next time. we could do a healing live or something, or a healing on the podcast, you know what I mean, for everybody that joins. Because
Yeah,
even, as you know, it's energy. And I even find, even with my healing lives, even if people watch them back, I know it's better being there obviously at the moment,
let's do it.
but when they replay it, they still get the energy. There's an awful lot of people come back to me and go, I've just watched your replay. I've people who watch them over and over, you know. But that would be a good one, I think, because that would help so many people out there, you know, that actually needs
Exactly, and that's all we're
physical,
all about. That's
yeah,
all I care about. That's all I care
physical
about.
and
People
emotional
sometimes, what
healing.
is your cost? What I said, I don't. I'm not a business. I'm not. I'm not. I'm really just here to spread light, to share, to guide, to be like, hey guys, look, I've been there. It's real. It's true. Think about it. Okay. Do
Yeah,
what you want with that. But that's what I do. So thank you again.
yeah.
Definitely will coordinate, and it's been a pleasure. And I hope you have a day full of light today.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.